Once upon a melancholic time, in the heart of the quaint city of Worcester, there stood an institution that promised the world but delivered a void. It was the heart of Worcestershire College, a place where dreams were said to take flight, yet for many, including myself, it became a mausoleum for unfulfilled aspirations. I arrived at the hallowed halls with a heart full of hope, my eyes wide with the innocence of expectation. Yet, as the days turned to weeks and weeks to months, the sheen of anticipation tarnished, revealing a reality as bitter as a winter's frost. The lecturers, those sage pillars of knowledge, were but hollow reeds, blowing aimlessly in the wind of apathy. They wandered into classrooms unprepared, their words not lighting the flame of curiosity, but dousing it with the cold water of indifference. It was as if they were merely going through the motions, their passion for teaching as extinct as the dodo. My dear friends, can you fathom the sorrow of sitting in a classroom, your hand eagerly raised, only to be met with the vacant stare of a lecturer who sees not a pupil hungry for wisdom, but an inconvenience to their day? It's like a flower reaching for the sun, only to be ignored, withering in the shadow of neglect. The facilities, advertised as state-of-the-art, were but relics of a bygone era, their age evident in the creaking chairs and outdated equipment. The libraries, once the sanctuaries of silent study, echoed with the hollow laughter of broken promises. The cutting-edge technology was as blunt as a butter knife, slicing through neither academic challenges nor the thick fog of frustration that enveloped us all. Imagine, if you will, a grand old clock, its hands frozen in time, a testament to the days when it kept perfect time. Now picture this clock as the metaphor for our college, a place where time stood still, where progress was as rare as a warm day in the depths of December. The administration, the supposed captains of this sinking ship, were nowhere to be found, their presence as elusive as the solution to a puzzle missing half its pieces. When one seeks guidance, what greater tragedy than to find oneself adrift in a sea of bureaucracy, with not a soul in sight to throw a lifeline of assistance. I recall, with a heart heavy as lead, the time when I was told my presence was no longer required, that my academic journey had reached its conclusion prematurely. Yet like a cruel jest, I was summoned back, not with open arms, but with a list of demands as long as the Nile, each task a boulder to be pushed up a mountain that grew steeper with every step. The career's advice, meant to illuminate the path to our futures, was as useful as a lantern without a flame. It left us stumbling in the dark, our questions unanswered, our futures shrouded in an impenetrable mist of uncertainty. And what of the bullying, that insidious plague that festers in the silence of inaction? It spread through the corridors like a virus, unchecked and unchallenged, leaving in its wake a trail of shattered spirits and broken dreams. To be bullied is to stand alone in a storm, your cries for help lost in the howling wind of indifference. Dearest listeners, have you ever felt the sting of isolation, the cold embrace of loneliness in a crowd of your peers? It is a pain that gnaws at the soul, a reminder that sometimes the darkest places are not those without light, but those without warmth. The cafe, a place that should teem with the laughter of youth, was instead a mausoleum of overpriced mediocrity. The food, my friends, was a culinary catastrophe, each bite a sad symphony of flavors that should never have been introduced. To consume, it was not just to eat but to endure, a gastronomic gamble with the odds stacked firmly against satisfaction. In the end, the heart of Worcestershire College, Worcester, was not a place of learning.
Businesses near the heart of Worcestershire College, Worcester, feel like they were all built on the same gloomy Monday. The food arrives tired, the coffee arrives confused, and the fun arrives with a hidden cover charge for disappointment. Start with the pubs. Around here, a Sunday roast is code for yesterday's meat dressed in freezer makeup. Diners keep meeting the same floppy carrots, the same powdered mash, the same Yorkshire pudding that could double as a tea stone. One kitchen, the Retreat Inn, has turned this into ritual grey beef you can bend like a playing card, gravy the colour of dishwater, and a manager who will tear your complaint apart with her bare hands before walking off mid-sentence. Locals say the place once had queues out the door. Now the only thing lining up is the stack of sorry plates nobody finishes. Slide a few doors down, and the Turkish grill houses are no kinder. Anatolian Palace looks grand on the sign, but inside it is a marathon of tiny calamari, lost order tickets, and waiters who play tag with jugs of water that never quite land. One table waited an hour for mains, only to watch the birthday boy's dinner arrive after everyone else had eaten the cake. When the bill appeared, it coughed up a mystery £60 hole. The staff shrugged, as if numbers are just a polite suggestion. The shish promises lamb. Diners receive lamb fat roulette, chew 4 cubes and 3 will be white jelly. The manager's comfort line, 1 in 20 will be bad. Those are lottery odds you pay 25 quid to lose. Coffee should be the rescue, but Wayland's Yard brews anxiety. The machine breaks, the barista breaks, the gift card system wipes itself clean like a guilty conscience. You order poached eggs, you get fried, you ask for water for the train, they point you to Tesco. A man watched a staff member leave the toilet with spray bottle in hand and park that same bottle next to the espresso machine, gloves still nowhere in sight. Somewhere between the sweet bagel bacon sandwich and the underfoamed matcha, hope curdles. Night falls and the clubs finish the job. Tramp stamps your hand for £6, then sells you vodka mixed with orange squash, $8.30 a glass, ice not included. The floor sticks like a guilty secret, the DJ treats requests like personal insults, security guards decide sobriety by mood, not by evidence. One guest found floating white bits in a gin, was told tastes fine, and switched to bottled water while watching others sniff their drinks in suspicion. Another punter slipped on a spilled drink, fetched the wet floor sign himself, then had it yanked away by bar staff who looked, to his eyes, half-past sober. The toilets smell of lost pocket money and broken promises. Even a simple cocktail bar tonic has started pouring mystery juice from unlabeled bottles. An old-fashioned now means whatever we mixed earlier, and an espresso martini arrives without visible espresso, or one suspects without visible vodka. Regulars who once paid for craftsmanship now pay for coloured water and the privilege of quieter music. The gift shops do not save the mood. A piece of heaven prices paper-thin socks at $8 and earrings you can buy on Temu for a third of the tag. The owner smiles, wraps your item in pastel tissue, and you walk out feeling gently pickpocketed by a unicorn. Put together, the strip feels like a practiced Thai food that gave up, coffee that forgot the beans, nightlife that charges entry to your own regret. If you are staying near the college, pack patience, pack snacks, and maybe pack a sandwich you trust. Otherwise you will spend your evening staring at a plate of lukewarm maybe, wondering how flavour, service and self-respect all stepped out for a smoke and never came back.
I am like investigating into crimes near heart of Worcestershire College. Worcester, you know. It is a college in the city centre, and I am looking into what kind of scams and frauds are happening around there. So, tourists, beware. Businesses near heart of Worcestershire College, Worcester are like, you know, a mix of good and bad. But unfortunately, there are some scammers operating in the area. Like, I found this one case where a scammer posed as a broker and convinced a woman to hand over $20,000 in cash, saying she would make money through cryptocurrency investments. Can you believe it? I mean, who does that? I predict that the victim was probably in shock and feeling really stupid after realizing she'd been scammed. I mean, who wouldn't he? It's like you walking around and someone approaches you and says, hey, invest in this, and you'll make a fortune. And you like, okay, sure. But then you realize it's all a lie. It's like your heart sinks, you know? And what probably happened to the scammer? Well, I am guessing they just took the money and ran. I mean, they probably still out there scamming other people. It's like they have no conscience, you know? Businesses near heart of Worcestershire College, Worcester are also like, you know, sometimes they engage in dubious sales practices. Like selling faulty goods or refusing legitimate refunds. It's like you buy something and it doesn't work and they like, sorry, not our problem. And you like, but I paid good money for this. It's frustrating, you know. I predict that people who experience this kind of thing are probably really angry and disappointed. I mean, who wouldn't he be? You trying to buy something and it doesn't work and the store won't help you. It's like you feel ripped off, you know? And then there are these mobile phone accessory shops and electronics repair stores that are like, you know, a bit shady. They sell you counterfeit accessories or quote one price and demand another upon completion. It's like you trying to get your phone fixed and they like, oh yeah, it'll be 50. And then they like, actually it's 100. And you like, what? No way. It's like they just trying to take advantage of you, you know? I predict that people who fall victim to these kinds of scams are probably really frustrated and upset. I mean, who wouldn't he be? You trying to get something fixed, and they just trying to rip you off. It's like you feel helpless, you know? And oh yeah, there are these fake charity collectors that operate near storefronts in Worcester city center. They aggressively soliciting donations or selling items under false pretenses. It's like, you walking around and someone approaches you and says, hey, give me money for this charity. And you like, okay, sure. But then you realize it's all a scam. It's like your heart sinks. I predict that people who fall victim to these kinds of scams are probably really disappointed and frustrated. I mean, who wouldn't he be? You trying to do something good and it turns out to be a lie. It's like, you feel foolish. So tourists, just be careful. There are scammers out there and they just waiting to take advantage of you. But don't let them win. Just be aware of